I didn't want to stay away from the Beatles for too long. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another hopefully beautiful day wherever you are. We are moving on. We are listening to Let It Be from the Beatles. We are going to listen to at least the first track from their 12th and final studio album released 1970, Let It Be, with the first track, which is, like I said, Two of Us, which I cannot help but think, and forgive me if you hate the sound of my voice, but makes me think of the once brilliant song, Just the Two of Us. We can make it if we try, just the two of us, you and I. That's, oh man, I can't tell you how much I want to listen to that song now. That's part of my childhood. And the sax riff, ba 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 da da, ba da 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 da, ba da 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 ba ba ba. I can't do that. And then the bass, ba da da. Ba, 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 da, da. I know you're not here for that, but I'm sorry. Anyways, a lot of you had recommended moving on to this album after we finished the previous one, and too many of you that I can't even sit there and go through the list, because I had pulled it up to try and pull through recommendations, and it's just way too many, and not necessarily all of you recommended this album. It was just a lot of you at least mentioned it, such as Tony Morelli, David Emery, Sam Stevenson, Jay Jennings, NJ, Queasel, AK, Rick, Jeff Martin, Daniel K, Edward Meredith, Eduardo Ferrer. See, there's a lot of you. And like I said, that's just at least people mentioning it. I don't know if that's necessarily those of you who recommended the track, or the album, I should say. But we're going to listen to this track. We'll talk about it a little bit after. Let's dive on in.
I Dig a Pygmy by Charles Hawtrey and the Deaf Aids.
I like that little break instrumentally, like very tiny, and then the hi-hat.
You and I have
Right there.
memories.
We'll have to read a little bit about the history on this album and, of course, the context with the Beatles at this point, because I know that this is their last album. They broke up. I don't really know the exact reasons and everything, so we're going to read about that. But the way at the very end that he says, goodbye, we're going home, I mean, it sounds very fitting due to the context of this, right? And I don't know if the Beatles knew that this was going to be their last album or not. I don't know if fans knew that this was going to be their last album or not. Like I said, we're going to investigate after we, talk about the song and read the lyrics and everything. But I feel like that maybe the Beatles themselves knew at this point, which, like I said, lends some poignancy to the lyrics and what they're saying. In the intro to the album, we get what I call a leaving the barn and heading to the market kind of track. We're just in this old truck, just bumping along this old dusty road. We've heard this sound exactly from them before. I cannot remember the song off the top of my head, but we listened to a song that was from the Beatles that was just like this, and it's just slipping my mind. I want to say it was from the White Album, if I'm thinking correctly. But it kind of gave me that same imagery of driving in an old, some old kind of beat up truck, a rusty truck, heading, down an old country road to the market or wherever they're going, and just bumping along the road. The guitars definitely have that kind of layered sound. The rhythm, of course, the way that Ringo sets it up with the bass drum. Pa, 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 da, da, da. It's like he's turning the key. Ringo's turning the key with that kick drum and turning the ignition that lets, of course, the truck drive down that road, which is just filled with those guitars from the band. The wonderful dual vocals from McCartney and Lennon singing on this one most of the time. And they sound great together, and it makes sense because the song is titled Two of Us. Well, there's two of them that are singing and involved in the vocal department, which I really like that little aspect. It's something perhaps expected from them, but I like it nonetheless. I will say that this track doesn't really, for lack of a better word, break any new ground. It doesn't sound as revolutionary to me as, some of their other tracks and the context surrounding them. This one sounds kind of normal, I guess, to an extent. I guess I have a higher thought of, how, of course, they changed music. And as we've listened to their previous albums, I've definitely understood that. This one kind of seems like, for lack of a better word, they're kind of traveling down a well-traveled road that they've traveled previously. But nonetheless, it still sounds nice. Let's go ahead and look at the lyrics here. I think my cat's trying to get in. Hold on 1 second. Was the cat trying to get in? Oh. I thought that was sake. Okay, looking at the lyrics here. So I Dig a Pygmy by Charles Hawtrey and the Deaf Aids, phase 1 in which Doris gets her oats. We'll click on that and see what that means. This is typical nonsense chatter from John Lennon, who had a twisted sense of humor. Pygmy is a generic term for ethnic groups that have a short average height, although it classically refers to the Pygmy people of Western Congo. Charles Hawtrey was an old hat comic actor in the 60s. Deaf aids is British English for hearing aids, and getting one's oats means to have sex. Lennon is thus humorously introducing the song as if it were a movie by Charles Hawtrey and the unlikely deaf aids called I Dig a Pygmy. Okay, so it's just a random joke, just some random anti-humor from Lennon. Two of us riding nowhere, spending someone's hard-earned pay. I like how it's not theirs, it's someone else's. You and me Sunday driving, not arriving on our way back home. Now, the way I read this, because it's them singing, could it be about their relationship in particular? We're on our way home, we're on our way home, we're going home. Two of us sending postcards, writing letters on my wall. You and me burning matches, lifting latches like opening doors on our way back home. We're on our way home. Are they burning matches? The first thing I thought of, they're burning matches because they're in the car together and maybe one of them is, no. You and I have memories longer than the road that stretches out ahead. I really feel like this is about them. And maybe if not them specifically, maybe about the band. Maybe it's a little autobiographical in a sense. Two of us wearing raincoats, standing solo in the sun. You and me chasing paper, getting nowhere on our way back home. Like they're trying to say, like maybe they're trying to get back home, trying to get back to simple things. They've got too messy in their fame, in their popularity. They've lost a part of themselves, perhaps, and they want to take it back to the good old days, so to speak. They want to take it back down to something more humble. Two of us wearing raincoats, staying solo. We're on our way home. We're going home. We're going home. You better believe it. Goodbye. Let's look at the track here. Okay, let's see. Recorded in 1969. A lot of random info here. McCartney wrote this song about his travel adventures with his then girlfriend, Linda Eastman, whom he married in 1969. As the Beatles were breaking up, it took on new meaning as a gesture of affection to Lennon. The song was originally titled On Our Way Home. Ian MacDonald suggested that the lyrics sounded like McCartney was probably addressing Lennon and contractual troubles. That's kind of what I was reading. That's how I was reading it. You Never Give Me Your Money, a different composition, but recorded after Let It Be, also refers to the Beatles' contract with Ethan or Alan Klein as funny paper. It says the song is also an ode to one of Lennon and McCartney's influences, the harmonies of the Everly Brothers. An early performance of the song in guitar-driven rock style can be seen in the Let It Be film. Unsatisfied with this style, McCartney described as chunky. The band reworked the song around acoustic guitars here. It says, in between several takes, the band spontaneously started playing a hammed-up version of traditional Liverpudlian song Maggie May. The 38-second song would also end up on the Let It Be album, but is omitted in another album. And we don't care about all that right now. We want to know about this one. On the Let It Be album, Phil Spector added as a spoken introduction the remark by Lennon, of course, what you read about there. And that is the info there. Lot of different covers of this particular track as well. No single information for this one in particular. Decent opening track. A decent opening track. But where shall we go from here? There's only one way to go. So let me know your thoughts on this track in the comments down below. I appreciate you watching as always. Thank you for being here. Thank you for always, supporting the channel and just showing up, showing your face. And I appreciate you guys. Have a great one.